What's up, guys? So today we're going to be revisiting the Galaxy Note 20 Ultra. This is probably the most requested phone that I get on the channel to revisit. So we'll go ahead and revisit it for, this mid 2023. And if you guys want to see, any other phones on the channel, just let me know in the comments down below. I am ready to bring some new phones on the channel. So they could be old flagship, new phone, budget phone. I'm open to anything. Alright, so let's go ahead and dive into this because I've gotten a lot of new subscribers, and this, like I said, it's probably the most requested phone, and for a good reason. I do think it's one of the best flagships, old flagships that you can get right now. It offers kind of a unique thing for 2023. Alright, so, the price is at $391, so it's a little bit weird because the phone that I like a little bit more than this phone is the S21 Ultra, right? And I'll probably do that comparison for you guys, but this is very close to the S21 Ultra, as you guys can see. So I know you guys are wondering, why is the Note 20 Ultra so close to the S21 Ultra? Basically, this phone, it has the built-in stylus, right? So you have the stylus support built in. Even though the S21 Ultra has the stylus support, this is built in. But also, this phone does have SD card support, and it's a big deal, right? The SD card support is a big deal, especially for people who take a lot of video, download a lot of games. It is a very big deal, and a lot of people just want that, the ability to be able to pop a SD card and get extra storage. So I definitely understand that. That's why the price is so close. At least here in the USA. I'm not sure about overseas in India and basically the Asian markets and stuff like that. Not really sure, but yeah. So that it puts it in a unique situation because $400 for this kind of flagship that's a little bit older, right? Definitely that's quite a bit of money, right? But yeah, I definitely think when you guys see this phone is definitely worth it. So it still feels like a very modern phone, and I want to go ahead and start off with the display here. So this phone still has a very, very good display, and honestly, it's really big display as well too. It's 6.9 inches, and Samsung, they scaled it back with the newer phones to 6.8, but this is a 6.9 inch display, and it's a big phone, a big boxy phone. It kind of looks like a little mini TV, right? So 6.9 inches is the dynamic AMOLED display. It's 120 hertz. Also, it's 1440p display, but the 120 hertz only works at the 1080p. So do remember that. Now, I get a lot of questions. Well, does the 1080p look good on this phone? Does it look low res? No, the 1080p actually looks really good. Can you notice the difference, bumping it up to 1440p? Slightly, but it's not like a massive difference, right? Since this thing has such a high PPI, it's not like it's going to be a huge difference. But yes, you can notice a slight difference from full resolution to 1080p. But like I said, it's not really worth not having the 120 hertz on. So I would definitely just, running at 1080p is fine. So the display on here, it's a really, really good display, guys. It's really big, really colorful as well too. If you guys saw, I did like a little YouTube short where it gets almost just as bright as the S23 Ultra, so not quite as bright in direct sunlight, but it's a very good display still in 2023. There's almost, nothing really wrong with it. So it does not feel aged at all. You still have pretty slim bezels on here. You got the punch hole. So I really like the display, actually. Alright, so one of the best things about the Note 20 Ultra is actually the chip on here. It is a very good chip. The Snapdragon 865 chip on here, it's really, really good, guys. It has aged really well. Games like PUBG can run at 90 frames. Games like Call of Duty run really well on here. It is a very good chip. Like I said, it's got the Snapdragon 865 micro SD card support, 128 gigs of internal storage, and 12 gigs of RAM on the base. And it is a beast when it comes to performance. Like, it's not even close. I actually prefer like these chips, these older chips, over the newer ones, guys. These phones don't seem to get as hot as like the 8 series phones, right? The 888 and the 8 Gen 1. Those phones can get a bit hot. This one, it always remains cool, like whether I'm playing games or I'm filming video or something like that. It's not like crashing, and I'm not getting frame drops and stuff like that. So these chips are very, very efficient. Like I said, you won't feel a difference from even the S23 Ultra or something like that. The average person really won't feel the difference from launching applications to playing video games. it really doesn't matter. It's just flies through everything. So that's one of the things I try to preach on this channel, is that these old flagships are really meant to last. And you can see we're in halfway through 2023, and this thing is still playing pretty much any game just fine. It's able to launch applications just fine, bounce in and out, and it pretty much has all the same features as an S23 Ultra. So that's one of the reasons why this phone is just so popular now still. Alright, let's talk about the actual design. So it seems like it's like 50-50 on the channel. Most of you guys hate the way this phone looks. A lot of you guys like the way the phone looks. My only complaint with the design is that it gets like definitely smudged up and stuff like that. Because it's got this glossy back. But I think it's a pretty nice looking phone, guys. I think it still looks pretty good. A lot of you guys hate this camera bump design on here. But I think it looks fine. I was never a hater of this design, but like I said, my only issue with these Note phones is that without a case, it does feel like sharp when you're holding it in the hand. It does have that boxy feel, but that's basically how they wanted it to look, because they wanted to look like a notepad, right? But the design still looks good. Like I said, you also have you don't have that weight thing like on the S21 Ultra, where the camera bump, it has like this weird weight thing where it feels like heavy at the top. This feels kind of even. It's not as bad. It's IP68 dust and water resistant. It's got wireless charging, and yeah, I think it still looks fine. The stylus works really well on this device. It's very fast and accurate. You can do digital artwork with it as well too. But let me know, what do you guys think of the design? You've also got stereo speakers on here, and let's go ahead and check those out. We got it at max volume. So really good sounding stereo speakers on here, very good bass quality, overall very loud. If you cover this one up, the top speaker does a very good job. And also for your additional features, this phone still has pretty much everything that the newer phones have. So you're not really missing out on anything feature wise, at least for right now. So we have the Samsung desktop support on here, Dolby Atmos, reverse wireless charging, secure folders. Everything is on here that's on the S23 Ultra here, so you're not really missing out on anything as far as the features go. Now this phone is running Android 13, One UI 5.1. Now this phone got its last major OS update, so basically it will only be getting security patches from now on, so that's something to note about the Note 20 Ultra. The fingerprint scanner on here is still very fast, still very accurate. You can also take advantage of Face Unlock as well too. So like I said, nothing about this phone really feels dated to me at all. It still just feels like the day it came out. It's just really fast and has pretty much all the features that you would want. Alright, let's talk about the cameras. So I mentioned this a lot comparing it to the S23 Ultra, and basically this phone still has a very good camera. Just to sum it up, it still feels very modern even in 2023. So it's got a 108 megapixel standard lens, so you can get some pretty high resolution shots and you're able to crop into photos and not lose the detail. And then you also have on here a 12 megapixel periscope telephoto. It does the 5x optical zoom, and you have the 50 times hybrid zoom on here. I was able to take the same moon shot that you can do on the S23 Ultra. You can still get a pretty cool looking moon shot as well too on this phone. And like I said, the 50 times hybrid zoom I think is enough for most people. No, it's not the 100 times zoom, but it's pretty good. Also, you do have on here a 12 megapixel ultra wide, and all the lenses on this phone is pretty consistent with the main lens. I don't think this phone takes bad pictures at all. Also, it's able to shoot in 8K 24 as well too, and it's got a 10 megapixel selfie cam that also can shoot in 4K 60. So I think the photos, it looks pretty good on the Note 20 Ultra for sure. I don't think anybody would buy this phone and be disappointed with image quality. If you were to ask me like where do I think the cameras have aged, just like with any older flagship, it would probably be in a lower lighting. So basically you can lose a little bit of detail in lower light. I think the newer phones do a much better job with managing that. But besides that, if we're in good lighting, like if it's we're outdoors or we're in a well lit area, it's almost it almost takes very close pictures to the newest phones, like the S23 Ultra. I did a comparison. You guys can check that out. It takes really good photos, even compared to new phones if you're in good lighting. But like I said, in some cases, like we're in indoor lighting and stuff like that, you don't have a ton of lighting yet. You'll see that difference with like an S23 Ultra, S22 Ultra. Besides that, video, photos, all still look really good on this phone. Now, I actually did a drain test with this phone, and I'm still able to get around 6 hours of screen on time. But again, it varies on the battery health of your phone, because I know some people say, you know, the battery life is terrible on here. I'm only getting like 4 hours. You can definitely squeeze 6 hours depending on the battery health of the device. So that's one, I think that might be one downside to older flagship, is that you could have buy one and, you know, the battery is not as good. But typically these phones can go for around 6 hours of screen on time pretty easily. It's got a 4500 milliamp hour battery on here, 25 watt fast charging, and then we also have the wireless and reverse wireless charging on here as well too. So battery life experience for me is pretty good. This phone pretty much can go through a day pretty easily. But just like most of these older Samsung flagships, it seems like if you throw a lot of intensive tasks at it, do a lot of high resolution video recording, stuff like that, intense applications, then yeah, you probably will only get around 4 hours of screen on time. But that's pretty much it, guys. The Note 20 Ultra is definitely still worth the money. And if a lot of you guys ask me, should I upgrade this phone? I would honestly keep it for another year or two, or I would wait till the Galaxy S24 if you guys just really thinking about updating. Because like I said, it's not too much different from the S23 Ultra. The S23 Ultra, to be honest, the biggest difference you'll see with that is probably battery life is actually noticeably better with that phone. It's actually shockingly better. But as far as the cameras, the screen, the speed, you know, gaming performance, I don't think the average person is really going to notice too much of a difference. So be sure to let me know what you guys think, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.